Hey, it's JP. We're living in really weird times right now. A lot of people have been asked to stay at home. That's okay if you work from home and you can do that with a laptop, but for a lot of my friends who are musicians who perform live, they're panicking and they need to know how they're going to survive. I've had quite a lot of people contact me about how to stream online. Now, it's very simple, you can just press record, but from a musician standpoint, that's not good enough. You need to know how to record the audio in really good quality. So this video is going to be a little bit different, and I'm going to break down a couple of different ways we can record live, we can stream live, and the tech that we need to use for that from a musician's point of view. I'm going to try and keep this as simple as possible because I don't want you to then suddenly run out and buy a load of tech that you don't need. And also, it's difficult to buy stuff at the moment. Stuff is on delay for deliveries, so I want you to be able to use the stuff that's maybe in your house and also get you up and running straight away. So the first example is just using your phone and pointing the camera at you. I'm using my iPhone. I use my iPhone for all my filming. I haven't got a digital SLR or anything like that. Don't run out and get one of them if you don't need it. And this is an iPhone 10. I'm using the FaceTime camera. It's good enough to actually get a bit of footage. If you're using an external microphone that has a mini jack, then what you're going to need, certainly for using with iPhone, is you're going to need the 3.5mm to Lightning connector. If you're plugging it into something like an iPad Pro, you're going to need the 3.5mm to USB-C connector. I'm using the app which is called Filmic Pro. You can use the normal camera app, but I would highly recommend that you invest in an app that can unlock a couple of things. I use Filmic Pro because I can set the exposure, as you can see here right now, and also I can set the focus. So the focus is on my face right now, and then if I was to move my hand really close, you can see that it stays in focus. It doesn't try and refocus onto my hand. That way, if you're performing and you're moving around, you could set the focus onto you and you only, and then if you're doing this in a live environment, say if you're doing this in the garden or anything like that, if something flies in front of the camera, it won't try and refocus. Now, cameras love light, so if you've got, say, lights that you use for a show, I would put them up and use that as you normally would. If you haven't, you can just get like your normal lights from your room. If you've got any like bedside lamps, take the shades off and put them here, sort of like either side of the camera, and then you've got a lot of light going on you. Now, for ease of use, if you want to go into streaming, I can't use Filmic Pro. Filmic Pro is for recording, and for streaming, the simplest thing in the world is to go to, say, Facebook, for example, on your mobile phone, and then what you can do is you can actually just go live video and then hit go live, and that's it. You just live and that'll pick up and it'll use the microphone from the camera. Now, you could plug in straight into your speaker if you've got a speaker, but then all you're going to be doing is using the iPhone microphone as the pickup, and it's not going to sound that great. What you need is you need something that goes directly in, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So this is my gigging setup. I've got my TC Helicon there, the head rush there, the expression pedal. This is in the flight case, and this is how I normally gig. I've got my guitars here, I've got my microphone all set up as if I'm doing a live gig. And these black cables with the white heads on, that would normally go out to the PA. So what we do is we follow this over, and this is going into a practice amp. This is a Roland KC110 amp. It's actually a keyboard amp, but also it's battery powered, and it's going in on channel 2 as a stereo in. This keyboard amp has a line out, and that's the really important part because we've got a left and a right. If we follow that, that is going into the Focusrite. So the line out left and right goes into the channel 1 and channel 2 of the Focusrite, and then the output of that is USB, and of course the USB goes into the camera connection kit, and then this bit we keep plugged in, so we keep it all powered, and that just goes into the iPhone.
So now I've got everything set up the way I want it. I've got my normal system plugged into the speaker as it normally would be, the output of the speaker going into the audio interface, and then the audio interface going into the phone. The great thing about this is you can hear the microphone, you can hear my effects. You can hear the guitar because everything's going through the system as it normally would. Now the great thing as well, I've got indication from the Focusrite that there's audio going in. I can see the lights lighting up green, and on the phone it's doing the same as well on Filmic Pro. Now this is if I'm going to record and then post it later on, but then also the phone can double up for streaming. So here we are on the phone under Facebook. I'm going to start a live stream. You won't hear the audio for this now because the audio went out to the live stream via the audio interface, but I just wanted to show you that it does work. Then once you finish doing a live stream, if you then click the word finish, the great thing is it will end the live stream and then you can post it up in HD, but you can also save it directly to your phone.
Now, you can use Facebook Live on the phone. It's really simple, and the great thing about that is it's really mobile. We could actually stream in the garden, or we could stream basically downstairs or upstairs or wherever you want to be. The other option you can do is you can take it a stage further by streaming through your computer. And I'm going to show you a package that is completely free. There is a little bit of a learning curve to it, but once you've got it up and running, it's really, really good.
So working off a computer, I'm going to show you a piece of software which is a broadcasting software which is called OBS. You can Google it, or if you just go to obsproject.com, it's a free and open source software for video recording and live streaming. Now, right now I'm recording my screen, but I'm going to boot up OBS and show you how it works. So bringing OBS up, you will actually see I've actually got it all pre-set up. Now, I've got a couple of titles and main scene and iPhone scenes. So if I click on these, there's my main scene. Hello. You can see me, and then I've even got an iPhone plugged in, which is the same iPhone we've been using before. If I plug that in over here, hello, and that's like a secondary screen. So I can see that straight away. Okay, so we're going to show you how all of this works. It does take a little bit of setting up, but let me go through it. So we're going to go through to scene selection, and we're going to create a new one. Now I've created a brand new one here just called 2020, and you're not going to see me now, but we're going to move this over. Now, with OBS, what you have, this is the latest version. It does run on Catalina for a Mac, and it does run the latest versions for Windows. You've got a big, wide open space here, and you'll have scenes, sources, and audio mixer. If you don't see these three, what you need to do is you need to go to View and Docs and make sure they're ticked, which are here. Scenes are a scene of a show, and then sources are inside each scene. So this scene, what we're going to do is I'm going to rename this scene. Just do a right click or a two-finger click on the trackpad and go to rename, and we're going to call that main camera. Inside main camera we need a source. So if we add a source in, I'm going to add in a video capture device. And I can call it whatever I want. So this one, I'm just going to call it the iMac camera. And then it's asking me, where is it? What source am I using? So we can see my phone, but we can see the FaceTime camera. So we'll just use that. And then it's set 720, that's the maximum for the FaceTime camera, and we click OK. And there we go. So it gives you a red box. And what we're going to do is I'm going to resize that box to the size of the screen. It kind of snaps in, which is quite nice. So the great thing about this is I can now start using different devices, and what I mean by that is I could use the microphone of the iMac if I wanted to, but I can also use the audio interface. So I've plugged the 2i2 back into the computer, and I'm going to add it as an audio input capture. So if I do that, let's just call it 2i2 and go OK, and then it should be there. There it is, Scarlett 2i2 USB. So if I click OK and add that in, then the 2i2 then actually comes up here, and you can actually see the audio going in. You can, if I pick up the microphone and 2222222, there it is. So I've got the microphone plugged in on input number 1. I can even go into here and actually go into advanced audio properties and make this mono, so it's coming out of both channels the same. So this is a really simple way. Now the great thing about this is just a real simple setup where we've got a camera and an audio interface here on the microphone. But what we can do is we can set up a second scene. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set another scene up. I'm going to call this iPhone scene. Now the scene doesn't have anything on it again, so we're going to add in the audio input capture. We're going to basically get existing, so we're going to add in the 2i2. So that's back. But then what we're going to do is we're going to add another video capture device. So if I go video capture and I go iPhone,
I can add the existing iMac camera, I'm not going to do that. And what I can do now is I can pick my phone. So there's my phone, we click OK. If you give that a second, there it is. Now on the phone what I'm using Filmic Pro. And Filmic Pro has a feature where you can tap and get rid of the user interface. So I'm just using that as a secondary device. So I'm going to resize this to how I want it. I can move it wherever I want, so I could put it to one side. Maybe I'm doing a presentation and I'm talking about things over that side, or I'm just basically moving it like that. Now, I've got it in this format, which is portrait. If I literally turn the phone, it tells the computer basically to put it into landscape mode automatically, which is fantastic. So all I've got to do is prop this up somewhere, leave it like this, and then I can put it wherever I want. I'm not limited to the camera on the iMac, which is fantastic. So we've now got these. Now the great thing is over here, you can see on fade, we can actually fade out. So if we then go fade, I'm going to change this to 500 milliseconds. And I can now go main camera, and it goes back over to the camera there. I've got the phone here. And then if I then go to iPhone, it changes over to the iPhone. So if you are doing, say, a live stream and you wanted to live stream you playing guitar, you want to play something out, and you've got someone else in the room, you could actually have someone going between the scenes automatically, and it instantly looks a little bit more professional. Now, we've got nothing else on the screen other than the camera, so what we can do is we can add some text. So I'm going to go in here and we can add text. And then the text, we can call it whatever you like. So let's just call it hello. And we go OK. It then brings up the text. So we're going to go and call it hello. We can change the font. So I'm going to go with, let's have a quick look at what we got. Let's go with impact. So we go with impact. I'm going to make it nice and big. So let's go one like that. And then that's fine. So there it is up there. And I'm just going to change a couple of things. So let's go with a new color for the top half, so the bottom half is white, that's fine. And we can again call that whatever you want and put it wherever you like. So you could change that over to say live stream. So let's say live stream from JP. Okay, and of course we need to reshape it and resize it. So we can put that maybe down there, make that a little bit smaller. And there we go. Now, these bits here have little locks on. So the little locks, you can lock them in place, and therefore you can't move them or change them. But you still got the little eye, so I can turn that off and turn that on. I can even make that into a ticker and make it move across by going into filters and add in a scroller. So if I add scroll, and we start the scroll at about there, you can already see it's doing it. So we can stream across from one side to another, and it's just doing live stream from JP, live stream from JP. This is where you start messing around with it. What I would do is put a couple of space bars in there so you can start seeing a little bit of a gap. And there we go. And also let's untick it. So what we can do is we can make that a little bit, go a little bit further. We could even make it go all the way across, but of course it's much bigger now. There we go. This is just a really, really quick way. Now the final thing is, once this is all set up and ready to go, it saves itself, and then what we need to do is we need to start streaming. So you can start streaming and start recording, so you can record to your Mac for later on. If you start streaming, it automatically starts recording, so you can go into it later and then post it later on if you want to. But make sure you go into the settings. Go into the settings and then go to stream, and then you can log in to whichever stream you want, and then you need a stream key. So if you then go over to Facebook or YouTube, you can pick a stream key and you copy and paste that in the settings just there, and then that key basically tells, say Facebook for example, don't use the normal camera, use the stream key, and then when you hit start streaming it will go and fetch that for you. Make sure your output is okay for your broadband. You've got obviously video bitrate. I've set mine at 2500 kps, which is fine, and then you've got the audio bitrate. Now most people leave this at 160. I would really recommend go to 192 if you can, or even go higher, because you want the audio quality to be really, really good. And that's pretty much it. So OBS has an amazing way of doing lots of different things. You can have keystrokes for each different bit, but this is all free. So you could set it up, plug in your audio interface, plug your equipment into the audio interface, and away you go. Now, if like me, you've been making some music whilst you've been stuck at home and you want to get that music out there in the world, then have a look at our sponsor, DistroKid. DistroKid is a distribution company that can get your music out to places like Spotify, iTunes, and Apple Music. When you create a track, to get that out there, you need to send your music to a distributor. So DistroKid is the easiest way for musicians to get into Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Tidal, TikTok, YouTube, and loads more. The great thing is you keep 100% of your royalties and they get paid monthly. Your music is in the store between 10 and 20 times faster than any other distributor at a fraction of the price, and you pay $19.99 to upload unlimited albums and songs for the whole year. Now, I've set up a special link with DistroKid. If you use it, it gives you up to 7% off your first annual membership, no matter which tier you use. There are different tiers, so if you're sending out music for different bands, or if you want to become a label, you can do that with them as well and get 7% off that membership. I hope you found this content useful. If you have, please give this a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. And if you've got any comments regarding live streaming either through your phone or through your computer, please drop me a comment and I will try and answer it as quickly as I can. In the description box below, I'm going to put a list of equipment and a list of things that I've been using today to show you how to use this and how to get this up and running as fast as humanly possible. If you haven't yet already, please consider subscribing to the channel as well and click the bell so you don't miss anything.